Brothers and sisters, we have a plan. This is Backwards James. Hey, happy Friday, my fellows. I want to talk to you today about the wolves in sheep's clothing. I want to talk to you today about, the false religions out there. And I made a testimony about me being a Jehovah's Witness and everything, an ex-Jehovah's Witness. And I deleted the testimony because it just wasn't, it's not what this channel's about. It was a little bit too relaxed. This channel is more about doctrine. It's the deep things of God. So I'm going to make another testimonial, but it's just going to be a little bit more on point as far as, doctrine goes. As far as understanding the deep things of God goes. And as far as how much religion goes to stand in the way of the reconciliation of mankind. You see, Jesus Christ is standing in the gap for us. There's no need for religion to stand in the gap for the one that's already standing in the gap. Okay, this is what the Lord said about a thief coming up some other way. Not using the front door. We know that the doorkeeper is Yahuwah. That would be Jehovah God, the Father. He's the keeper. This is why we pray, may He bless and keep you. This is why He said, don't store up treasures on earth, but let your treasure be found in heaven where no man breaks in and steals, you see. If you want your loved ones to be protected, when everything goes down like it's about to, when the 3 days of darkness begins, when the conflict really begins, when the war of ages really commences, if you want safety for your loved ones, your valuable goods, that is, then you should store them up in heaven. Pray that God bless and keep them. He is the keeper. Just as David sallied forth and had to leave behind the others as baggage and luggage. Pray that God bless and keep them, and they will be restored to you. And so, the illustration that I want to get into regarding the false religions, the harlot church, those idols that are standing in the way of every man and woman seeking God, truly seeking Him. They're standing in the way, and God Himself is going to destroy them. Let me take these off. Okay. So, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Oh, such a deep, deep, deep illustration. The wolves in sheep's clothing, okay, is very deep. Now, a lot of people take that illustration and they leave it on the surface. You and I are about to discuss the deep things of God, okay? So you understand why the wolf would put on sheep's clothing. The wolf eats the sheep, right? He has a taste for sheep, okay? Why would the wolf want to put on sheep's clothing and enter into the flock? So that he could go undetected. Now, we'll take it deeper than the surface meaning, okay? Now, what if you were that wolf? What if you were smart enough to figure out that you could be a wolf and stand in among the sheep, the very sheep that you have a taste for? What would you do if you were that smart wolf that had figured out to just put on, sheepskin and walk in the flock undetected? What's the first thing that you would do if you were that wolf? Would you dart upon one of the sheep right away? Would you, as soon as you get there, you get a whiff of sheep, just like Sylvester and Tweety, and automatically put one of the sheep in your mouth? Would you do that? Or would you wait a little while, maybe a couple of weeks, in and out with the flock, and then all of a sudden lose control and just eat 2 and 3 of them? What would you do? Would you give up your position, right away? If you were that smart, you were smart enough to figure out how to get in. How many of those sheep do you really want? Oh, wolf? You want 1 or 2 sheep? Is that the appetite of the big bad wolf? Or, wouldn't you want all? Wouldn't you want as many sheep as possible? If you were that smart wolf. You are already smart enough. How smart are you? So, the sheep, I'm contending this to you guys. And the reason I'm asking you this. I contend that wolf not only wants to eat every single one of those sheep, he also has the means to do so. All he's got to do is think of another plan. Amongst the flocks and amongst the religions, and even on YouTube, that wolf in sheep's clothing. Have we already discovered this wolf, brothers and sisters? Okay. Do we know who the wolf is? Okay. It's the same thing as the angel of light. The angel of light and the wolf in sheep's clothing is the same. Have we already figured out who it is? Okay. The word picture and the illustration, it reminds me a lot of Jacob and Esau and Isaac. So, in order to trick Isaac, Jacob put on goat hair, goat skin, goat's clothing. Now, that's just interesting because a sheep and a goat, we know that these are, opposite each other, right? They're opposed to each other. They both stand around in the same flock, the sheep and the goat, okay? But in order to imitate Esau, Jacob put on goat hair. And he tricked Isaac. Okay. Now this switcheroo, this is the same thing. Esau, down the line, has fooled Isaac once again. Now who is Isaac? I believe Isaac represents the church. Isaac stands between Abraham and Israel. Isaac is the son. I say that Isaac represents the church just because of, what happened with Isaac getting tied up by Abraham, about to be offered up on Jehovah Jireh, the mountain. Isaac is the church, my brothers and sisters. And I'll get to that part. But Esau is Edom, right? Now, did Esau remember loving kindness down the line, down the years, down the ages? Edom, the territory of Edom, didn't they war against Israel? If you read Obadiah, okay, did Esau remember the covenant of brothers? Do you think that Esau wanted to get back at Jacob for what he did, stealing his birthright? Because after all, Esau's the firstborn, right? So is it far above Esau, okay, to maybe put on sheep's clothing and sneak in and have his way with those innocent sheep? Esau who had bloodlust, Esau who forgot the covenant of brothers. This, my brothers and sisters, is the very thing that has already taken place. Okay? Where is the wolf in sheep's clothing? Where is the angel of light? They want to eat all of those sheep. This is the mystery. Okay? Because if the sheep had known where the wolf was, don't you think an alarm would have gone off? Don't you think, just like it did on YouTube, with this trifling ministry. I'll say that, because the YouTube ministry is not as great as, we would think. We've got such high esteem of ourselves sometimes. But I mean, the problem is a lot bigger than YouTube. Okay. A lot of you rapture watchers and all you rapture ready folks out there, okay, you've completely forgotten and you've passed over the love of God. Because what did God do to Isaac? Did he say, oh, go ahead and Abraham cut his throat? No. God himself stood in the gap for Isaac. Are you standing in the gap for your fellow sheep? Okay, are you fellow sheep anymore? What are you all? Okay, what about those that are languishing in the harlot churches? The blind ones who are about to be eaten by the wolf in sheep's clothing, who also, Esau is red, right? Just like the devil. The angel of light, that would be Satan, the devil, no? Okay. They are about to be eaten, one and all of them. They're about to be marched right into the mouth of the dragon. Every single one. That's the broad road. Okay, you and I believe, are blessed because we have found out the wolf in sheep's clothing, or maybe we haven't. I don't know. But that wolf is smart. He wants to eat everybody, and the way that he did that is he dressed up like a sheep. Now, how do you do this? Well, let's look at the way everyone dresses at church. What do you wear when you go to church? Do you wear what I've got on today? I'm at work. Is that what you wear? I don't think so. Okay, because all Joel Osteen and all that what's that dude? I forgot his name. All the prophet preachers. All they have to do is wear suits, right? Dress up real nice. The outward show. Okay. Do you think that wolf would be happy, walking around in the flocks and grazing with the flocks? No. That wolf is going to have to make his way up the ladder, don't you think? Maybe he cut a deal with the shepherd. And God and Jesus Christ calls the shepherds hired men, because what do they like? They love money, right? So if that wolf has got a little bit of money, all he's got to do is cut a deal with the shepherd. The shepherd himself will plot against the sheep. And, that's how the wolf gets all the sheep. You eat them all up at one time, make a deal with the shepherd and get all the little sheep to follow in the wrong direction. This is what the harlot church is all about. This is what false religion is all about. You got the sheep, but they're not following the true shepherd. Who's following the true shepherd? Wouldn't that be you and I? Are we still going to the churches and we're imitating the wolf who's wearing sheep's clothing? Okay. Because what is it about the nice clothes that attracts us to these churches? Do you think that God himself is turned on by your nice dress? Huh? Because after all, God won't be fooled, will he? Does God look at the outward appearance? Or does God see what the heart is? I think you know. Okay. But I contend that God himself has dropped some hints about how we're going to find out where the wolf is, where the angel of light is. He drops hints all through the scriptures. Okay. Look at 1 Samuel chapter 19. When you had Saul hunting David. And then Michal, or Saul's daughter who loved David, she fools Saul and his men by she takes the teraphim, which is an idol, and she lays it down on the couch and says, "Oh, David's sick." And so they bought it. But look at the verse. It says that she laid down the teraphim, and at the head, she put a yoke of goat's hair. A spool of goat's hair, or a yarn of goat's hair. She put goat's hair at the head of the teraphim. This is interesting, because goat's hair, that's what Jacob wore to fool Isaac. And so here's Michal fooling Saul with this teraphim, which is an idol form, and she put the little goat's hair on there. Very interesting. Let's think about Jonah. Jonah had a little problem. He got thrown overboard into the sea. Where were his weeds tied up? He had weeds, right? The wheat in the weeds is the same as the angel of light. It's the same as the wolf in sheep's clothing, the wheat and the weeds. What about those weeds that got tied around, Jonah's head, right? There's that head again. Jonah had weeds tied around his head. Look at the Lord. The Lord had thorns and briars, a crown of thorns tied around his head, wound around his head. Okay? Those thorns, right? What did it say? The 4 different types of seeds. Some falls on the rock, some falls alongside the road, some falls on the rock mass. There are some that fall among the weeds. Those that fall among the weeds, they get choked by the thorns. So are there thorns choking the wheat? Yes, indeed. Look at the crown of thorns around the Christ's head. You remember Isaac was going to get offered up, and then, oh, look, Jehovah Jireh, God himself, provided a ram over in the thorn bush. Do you remember how the ram got tied up in the thorn bush by his horns? Another reference to the head. What did it say? The prophecy at Genesis 3:15, I believe. He says, you, speaking to the serpent, you will bruise him in the heel. He will strike you in the head. John the Baptist, did he have his feet removed? No. He had his head cut off. So yes, the wolf in sheep's clothing, he's not going to be found at the bottom of the pyramid. The wolf in sheep's clothing is in the head, the leader of the church. Spitting all over the Jehovah's Witnesses. The leader of the Jehovah's Witnesses, the leaders of these churches, the invisible God-like idol forms. They are the head of the church. The wolf in the sheep's clothing is organizing all you sheep at the churches and telling you where to go and how to and when to be there. That way, the wolf can get you all in one spot and walk you single file right into the mouth of the dragon. This is what I'm thinking. Okay? So, that is the mystery of the wolves in sheep's clothing. Have you already discovered the angel of light? The man of sin, the man of lawlessness? Do you already know where he is? Have you done any research about the Illuminati? Have you done any research about all the secret societies, about Theosophy and Helena Blavatsky? What their plan was? Albert Pike? Freemasonry? Don't you know that their plan was to take over all the religions? All of them. How do you think they're going to do that? By sitting out in the audience with you? Aren't they going to stand on stage and lie to your face? Aren't they going to dress up in all their pretty suits? And because of their fine dress, you say, oh, they are from God. They are blessed. Holy, holy, you say. Foolish is what you are. Did you stop looking? Did you fall asleep? Did you remember that the Lord said, by their fruits you will recognize those men? You see, because after a couple of generations, that wolf in sheep's clothing, when they mate, are they going to make sheep or are they going to make wolves? Wolves make wolves, no. Sheep's clothing or not. Wolves make wolves. So are you wolves? You second and third generation Jehovah's Witnesses? Why are you judging your brothers and sisters according to the outward appearance? Are you judging them by their hearts? Don't you know what their heart is? Probably not. Because those of us that can see with eyes of the Spirit, we are well aware that there is an imposter among us. It doesn't matter what kind of sign he wears or what kind of book what kind of covering he wears. We're not fooled by those things. What is he doing? The Lord says, the fruits, that's how they act. Are these leaders, are they full of love and just so beneficent? What are they doing? What are they really doing? I mean, it's easy to see. These guys are a bunch of pedophiles and rapists and greedy, money-grubbing, liars and crooked merchants. And, it says so that they were, it's Babylon the Great, the harlot that God calls out in all the prophets. It says that your high-ranking men, the highest-ranking men on the earth, they actually filled their pockets with riches due to the shameless luxury, okay? She kept on prostituting herself and making riches. You cannot serve God and riches. Aren't these wolves in sheep's clothing? Aren't they serving themselves? Aren't they building houses for themselves? Aren't they putting money into their own pockets? And aren't they fleecing the flock? Isn't that what they do? Those are wolves, right? And even among the Jehovah's Witnesses, is it the people that are benefiting? Or is it the people that are getting taken? They're getting led about. They're getting gathered together in large numbers. And soon the wolf is going to strike. Think about it, my brothers and sisters. I'm already at a 20-minute video. I got a lot to say, man. I got a lot to say. I'm full of the Spirit of God. I'm going to make another testimonial about the ex-Jehovah's Witness, because that's what I am. Because I'm not imitating the wolf any longer. I am following my true shepherd. Even if I have to be a fleeced one of the flock, even if I have to follow after him bucket naked, like Mark, I will run after the Lord. I have nothing to hide. I'm here. So if you got a problem with that, then hey, hit me up. You can text me. You can email, comment below, whatever. You know, shoot me a text. This is James backwards. I got love for ya. Keep your eyes open. They're everywhere.